The town of Willowbrook was nestled in a remote valley, surrounded by dense forests and towering mountains. It was a picturesque place, known for its serene beauty and the warmth of its people. But one fateful day, that tranquility was shattered when a massive avalanche blocked the only road leading in and out of town, cutting off all communication with the outside world. As days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, the residents of Willowbrook grew increasingly isolated. The once friendly community began to feel the weight of their seclusion, and tension mounted as the realization sank in that they were entirely on their own. To make matters worse, strange occurrences began to unfold. It started with the livestock. Cattle, sheep, and even the town's pets began to vanish without a trace. The farmers were left bewildered and frustrated, unable to protect their livelihoods. They set up traps and surveillance cameras to catch the culprits but found nothing. Not a single trace of what might be responsible for the disappearances. Rumors started circulating through town, whispered in hushed tones by worried townsfolk. Some spoke of a lurking darkness in the forests, a shadowy presence that only appeared under the cover of night. Others swore they had seen strange, glowing eyes peering out from the depths of the trees. One moonless night, while the townspeople gathered around a roaring bonfire, the truth revealed itself in the most horrifying manner. A blood-curdling scream pierced the air as Sarah, a young woman who had been standing near the edge of the forest, was dragged into the woods by an unseen force. Her friends rushed to her aid, but all they found were her torn clothes and a trail of blood leading deep into the darkness. Panic swept through Willowbrook. The townspeople were now confronted with a sinister reality they could no longer deny. Their isolation had left them vulnerable to a menace that lurked in the wilderness, something unnatural and predatory. In the following nights, the townspeople could hear strange, otherworldly cries echoing from the forest, sending shivers down their spines. Armed with flashlights and whatever makeshift weapons they could find, they ventured into the woods to confront the unknown. As they penetrated deeper into the heart of the forest, they discovered grotesque creatures that defied explanation. These abominations were neither animal nor human, their bodies a grotesque fusion of both. Their eyes glowed with an unnatural, malevolent light, and their movements were swift and feral. The townspeople realized that they were dealing with something beyond their wildest nightmares. The creatures lashed out, attacking with savage brutality. They seemed to materialize out of thin air, moving through the trees and underbrush with uncanny speed. The townspeople fought desperately to protect their loved ones, but the odds were stacked against them. The once close-knit community was being torn apart, both physically and emotionally. In the midst of the chaos, a small group of survivors managed to retreat to the safety of a remote cabin deep in the forest. With barricaded doors and boarded-up windows, they huddled together, trying to make sense of the nightmare that had befallen their town. One of the survivors, Daniel, was a former wildlife biologist. As the terror raged outside, he began to piece together the cryptic clues from the environment. He concluded that the creatures were not from this world, but something ancient and unearthly that had been awakened by the avalanche that cut them off from the outside. The survivors realized they had to find a way to close the rift that had allowed these creatures to enter their world. Armed with their newfound knowledge, they embarked on a treacherous journey into the heart of the forest, determined to uncover the source of the rift and seal it. Their quest led them to a hidden glade deep within the woods, where they discovered a portal of swirling, malevolent energy. As they approached, the grotesque creatures converged on them, defending the portal with savage determination. In a desperate battle, the townspeople fought against the creatures, each one facing their deepest fears and confronting the nightmares that had plagued them. With a final, coordinated effort, they managed to disrupt the portal's energy, causing it to collapse in on itself. As it did, the creatures were sucked back into the rift, their anguished cries echoing through the forest. The townspeople watched in awed relief as the portal vanished, leaving only a tranquil glade in its place. They had sealed the rift, banishing the nightmare creatures back to their own realm. Willowbrook was no longer cut off from the rest of the world, and its residents could begin the arduous process of rebuilding their lives. But the memory of those horrifying creatures would never fade, a chilling reminder of the perils that lurk just beyond the boundaries of their world. The town of Willowbrook had survived a nightmarish ordeal, but the scars, both physical and emotional, would forever shape the lives of its residents.